Well, hello again. I would say happy Monday, except he's throwing it down. And it's been a bit of an eventful day. Where shall I begin? Are you sitting comfortably, as they used to say on Listen with Mother? Then I'll begin. Well, I had to go to the dentist this morning. Nothing drastic, just scale and polish and all that. Yeah, you know, they always manage to find that nerve, don't they, when they do that. So I had to get up early and I looked at all the rain and I thought I can't go on my small scooter because I would have got drowned before I got to the tram. And in any case, I went to pick up my prescription, but that's another story. So, goes in my big scooter. Seafoam. If you don't know what seafoam is, it looks like you've got too much stuff in your bubble bath, yeah? It was coming over from the sea in droves. It looked like it had been snowing, to be quite honest. It looked like snowdrifts. Anyway, I battled my way through that and gets to Fleetwood. I thought, well, I'll go to the dentist, get that over and done with. As usual, I don't know that it's a typical thing for Monday morning, but the lift man was there, servicing the lift. So I had to wait while he faffed about with the lift before I could get in it. Because I can't do the stairs, they're like that, you know, the stairs. Anyway, as my teeth sorted out and everything, she took the clip out of my hair because she said, oh, you'll hurt your head putting your head back. So she unclipped my hair so that would like fur everywhere. You know, without a mirror, I'm just useless. And then she proceeded to drown me, so my eye makeup finished up everywhere. I've still got the bags under my eyes where I can't clean it. I'll take it all off eventually. Anyway, we comes out of there, so I thought, right, go pick the prescription up. No, we don't have it. We don't have your injection, we don't have this, and we don't even know if we can ever get it in again. It's in short supply, blah de blah de blah. I said, look, this is ridiculous, you know. I need it for diabetes, I don't need it for losing weight. So, anyway, I got a different woman. One woman's just like, oh, you'll have to come back, one woman. But this other one, she comes over and she said, look, I'm terribly sorry about all this. She said, I know you rely on it for your diabetes. I said, well, it's not that. It's when I don't get it, and when I get it again a week or two later, it upsets my stomach because I have IBS. She said, I perfectly understood. Leave it with me a minute, I'll see what I can do. So she comes back and she said, there's a chemist, it's in Blackpool, she said, but they will have it in stock, and they always say that they will have it in stock for diabetic people. I said, but the problem is, I've only got a mobility scooter. So she said, oh, not a problem, they'll deliver. So, but the thing is, they're going to deliver it on Thursday. Well, as you know, I usually go out to brunch on Thursday, but I was a bit because of the weather. So anyway, I decided I'd go and get a bit of brunch myself because I was too early to go to the knit club at the library. I mean, I don't mind going a bit early, but too early was too early, you know. So I went and got a little bit of brunch at Weatherspoons, which wasn't the best. I'm sorry, but it wasn't the best. But I ate it. And so I came out of there, went to get a loaf because I needed some bread. And then I went to the library. So I sat there because at least it was warm. It doesn't rain inside the library, does it? You know. So I sat there and did some knitting. Yeah, I know, knitting. Lacy pattern, big mistake, kept going wrong. It's now back in the ball again. So I can't show you anything because it's back in the ball again. Yeah. If you want to know what I'm wearing, it's a very old sweater, very, very vintage pattern. If I ever find it again, I'll show it you. And I'm wearing my owl. It's one of those little one that moves about. Yeah, a little owl on a chain. So anyway, had a chit chat in the knitting shop, you know, talking about that Wonder of Wool or something, World of Wool that was on Channel 4 last night with Tom Daly. That was an hour of my life I won't get back. What a waste of a programme. They had people knitting and they were knitting against each other. It's like a knockout competition. And what did they give them to make? A Fair Isle tank top. But because they only had 10 hours in which to knit it, and it had to be all in Fair Isle and whatever, they gave them 20mm needles that were like great huge pokers, and they're super chunky. So I'm sorry, but unless you're the neatest knitter in the world, super chunky always looks like an amateur's knitted it, or somebody knitted it with their feet. It's very difficult to get such thick wool to look nice. So I'm sat there thinking, what am I watching this for? I thought, this is, yeah. And then there was a bloke there who decided he would steek it. Now, if you know what steeking is, it means you cut it up. I've never done it, and I don't fancy doing it because I don't want to knit all that knitting and ruin it, yeah. Anyway, everybody kept saying to him, oh, you can't do it with this super chunky. You can't do it, it won't work. Oh, no, he cuts it up, doesn't he? He makes a pig's ear of it, yeah. So naturally, he was the first one to say bye-bye. But before he said bye-bye, they did a group project, and they had to cover a sofa. Come on, cover a sofa. One group did, they divided them into groups for this. One group did all strips, like with cables and stuff, different colours, and sewed them all together. Very badly, but they sewed them together. Anyway, you can't sew super chunky up neatly. Always looks like a pig's ear, I'm sorry, it does. And the other one made a right ash of it. There's pieces of this and that and colour. Oh, it was a mess. But, so I'm thinking, I'm not impressed with this. And Tom Daly was wearing, I don't know what the heck he was wearing. It was all coloured different stripes. It had long bits like that floated about behind him. And it was designed by one of the judges. And I'm thinking, well, if she's designed that, what are the standards going to be like, if you know what I mean? So anyway, the general consensus of opinion on Facebook is rubbish. But the sad thing is, you see, they're going to say, oh, that knitting show wasn't a success, we won't do any more. They should have asked, a general consensus of opinion. What would knitters like to see? And I don't think they would like to see that. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you watched it and thought it was Mr. Wonderful, let me know, because at Knit Club we discussed it and we all thought it was rubbish, yeah? And I won't be watching episode 2 to whatever, and I don't care who's the last one in. I don't care who's Knitter of the Week or what, Knitter of the Year or whatever. I just don't care anymore. If that's the standard, what they're going to be doing, forget it, yeah? There used to be a brilliant programme. It was on BBC. And I'm going back when I was either just before I got married or just after, I can't remember. And I have still got the book from it, and I will find it in my hundreds of books. But I tried to look for it tonight, but I was standing in my own light, if you know what I mean. The light was behind me, so I'm like looking, and my shadow was going across the books, so I couldn't see what I was looking for. So I'll try and look in the daylight tomorrow, and I'll show you. Now that was a decent knitting programme, and I'll tell you more about that tomorrow. Yeah. Anyway, boob of the day today was, well, it was on Sunday, was the boob. I had my kitchen scales on top of the little mini oven. Completely forgot. Put it on to grill my bacon and discovered that my little mini scales, they were plastic, so they sort of melted. So I thought, well, I've had them a while. I'll just get another set. I won't get a big set. Big mistake. This is what turned up today. Don't laugh. That's it. That's my mini scale. You try weighing flour in that to make a cake. A doll's house cake, maybe. One little tiny fairy cake. That's it. It didn't look that, probably my own fault for not checking the measurements, but it certainly didn't look that small on Amazon. No, I didn't buy it from the tea place. I probably could have done, yeah. But look at the size of that. I put it on my Facebook and somebody said, I think it's a drug dealer's scale. half a dozen raisins into weighing, could you? So my review said, too small, only fit for a doll's house. My review on Amazon said that. Anyway, back to my coming back. So I thought, oh, it's going dark. It's going dark dead early now because the clocks have changed. I thought, oh, flip. If I go down the seafront, there's no lights. No lights at all on the seafront. So I thought, better get home. Home. I thought, oh my God, my scooter's going slower. I thought, no, it's your imagination, because then it would speed up a bit and it would be fine. And then no, it's definitely going slower. And then my battery started going, ba-dum, 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 the battery light. I thought, oh, here we go again. Because if you remember last week, the battery died on my scooter, and I just got it to the driveway. Just managed to it into the garage. And I thought at the time, maybe I hadn't plugged it in, properly.
It's 8:08 p.m.
Thank you, Alexa. I didn't ask you that. You all know what time it is. So I'm coming down the seafront because it's going darker and darker, and I'm thinking, oh, shine a light, let me get to somewhere. At least I'll be on a road. Then if I break down, I can tell them where I am. Trying to get somebody to come and rescue my scooter in the dark on the seafront with no lights would not be So anyway, I did manage to get home. So I rang my scooter man, but of course it was 5 o'clock by the time I limped my way home, and they were closed. So I left a voicemail message saying, please, hello, help. I think there's something wrong with the battery on my scooter. I have a funny feeling it's due for either a service if I keep it, or it's due for an exchange. Exchange would be lovely, but it would probably mean the price would go up because I pay for it monthly. It's on a scheme, So I thought, oh God, even less money, when I'm trying to save a bit of money, trying to put my heating on. I don't want anything frivolous, Extra money is not for frivolities, no. It's just to keep warm, I've got the heater on now, if you can hear a funny buzzy noise, it's my boiler, Anyway, that's my bit of news for today. I'm not doing a very big video, I just thought I'd let you know what's going on in my life, So, and if I start my knitting again, or if I just give up and crochet it, I didn't want to take my hexagon to knit club because I'm on the last sleeve, and with going to the dentist, I didn't want to take a huge big bag full of knitting into the dentist with me, lumped up, and also it was raining, so I didn't want it getting wet on the way to and from knit club. So I thought I'll just start something new. I'll start some knitting for a change. Picked a pattern, I've done it before, but it was a long time ago, to be honest. It's a bit of a vintage one. And it was a bit silly really, because I must have had better eyesight when I knitted it last time, because the vintage pattern print teeny weeny, and of course I didn't take my glasses. So I'm going like this, And my friend said to me, you need to photocopy it and blow it up a bit, make it a bit bigger. I said, right, okay. But I discovered after doing about that much at Knit Club, I'd gone wrong twice. And she said, oh, it's the back, nobody will notice. I said, I will. I'm a demon. If there's anything slightly wrong, no. It has to come back, So I just sat there and unravelled it, and they're all going, oh, have you unravelled it? Done about 3 or 4 inches? I said, I know, but it's wrong. And I'd gone wrong in 2 or 3 places. To put it mildly, it's like it goes like that, a zigzaggy pattern in knitting, and the holes go either side of this zigzag. So it's a 4-row pattern, and you do your hole one side or the other, which makes it go into a zigzag. And of course, I'd got them on the wrong side on a few places, so instead of going like that, mine was going straight. It would have bugged me. I could not have left it. It had to come back. So watch this space. I might start something tomorrow. I may not. Because tomorrow I'm not going out. No. This weather is atrocious. I mean, before I decided I wasn't going to go out on Thursday, my other friend had messaged me and she said, oh, the weather forecast is dreadful all this week. It's just rain, rain, rain and more rain. I said, oh, let's knock it on the head, you know, for going anywhere. And now, of course, I daren't trust my scooter. I am not limping my scooter back. You know, I get all agitated, you know, thinking, oh, can I make it home? Can I make it home? I mean, they do send out a taxi to pick me up if it breaks down, but I've got to leave the scooter, abandon it somewhere. And I mean, I've got bits and bobs and pieces in the back. I've got a suitcasey thing on the back, bits and bobs, my walking stick that folds up's in the back, bags and that. And in the front that drops down a little bit, I've got my hats, my gloves, sunglasses, sunglasses and that in the front. So if I leave it anywhere, of course I strip everything out of it, you know. And then I've got a blanket and I've got my cape thing, you know, that I wear for the rain. I thought, oh God, if it breaks down, I can't leave that attached to my scooter. I've got to bring it home with me and have armfuls of the stuff. Like I say, they do send a taxi for me if I do break down, but I've got to sit and wait half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. If I sit and wait for the breakdown wagon, I could wait 2 and 3, 4 hours, because they have to send a low loader out, which is one reason why, if I broke down on the seafront, no chance. Because my scooter's so tall, they can't send a recovery van like they would for a normal person with a normal scooter. They have to send a low loader for mine. You know, great big Arctic low loader. And put it on the back. I mean, the last time they had to bring it home, it looked so stupid. Massive big low loader with this little scooter bouncing about on the back. I should have took a video at the time because it was funny. But I don't want to go through that again. So I am hoping that tomorrow I will get a reply to my voicemail, you know. He's very good. He is actually very good, my scooter man. You know, he you know, whatever he can do, he does. You know, he's not one that leaves you hanging on. If I need another scooter, he'll bring me a replacement, but it probably will be one without a top. So it'll be a case of I'll get wet if I go out, but at least I will have a scooter. He doesn't leave me stranded. Because it's worse now, because of course I'm here on my own. I mean, before when I was stranded, I wasn't stranded if I had to go to the doctors or anything. My son or my daughter-in-law was there with a car. So I wasn't completely, you know, abandoned, if you know what I mean. But now I really am on my own. But it doesn't worry me in most respects. It's just, I rely on my scooter. It's my lifeline. I'm absolutely lost. I know I've got the tiny folding up one, but that's no good in the rain. Mind you, I needed a canoe today. Oh, Lord above. Puddles like that deep puddles. I mean, that probably hasn't helped my battery, because the batteries are underneath. I know they're underneath in the cover, but water gets everywhere, doesn't it, you know? And sand. You know, it's like the sand dunes of the Sahara again on the seafront. So I had the sea foam, the sand, and big puddles until were that deep. If I'd have been going through on my little scooter, I'd have had my feet wet and everything wet. Anyway, me and my little... I mean, that is a joke, isn't it? How can you weigh ingredients for a cake on that? I do think it's meant for that little section of the population who do a little bit of dodgy dealing. Yeah, I think that's what this is meant for. When it arrived, I thought, that's a small box. You know, I was expecting something about that big. It looked huge. Well, they always do, don't they, in the photographs? They always look huge. So I can't blame the tea place for that. That was Amazon. What do you do with that? Look for my friendly neighbourhood dealer. See if he wants to buy it from me. Half price. Yeah, half price. I'll switch it on now. What a joke. So I'm going to go now, make myself a brew, watch some television. No, I'm not watching The World of Wool or whatever it's called. Avocado, Naked Sheep, somebody else. Oh, Lord above, the comments are dire, absolutely dire. If Channel 4 is waiting for feedback, they're going to get a lot of negative feedback. You know, even Lamarca would have made a better one. She'd have knitted better than them. They were great knitters, don't get me wrong. They were all beautiful knitters, but they were out of their comfort zone. Most of them said they had never knitted with 20mm needles. They're like pokers. I mean, one guy there, he does designing and stuff like that. He was wearing a fantastic sweater. He knitted, obviously, in very fine fingering way. Beautiful, fair out he was wearing. And he admitted, he said, I've never knitted on anything this thick and big. They were nearly all struggling, you know, to get the tension right. And all the knitting was, I mean, you could see what they were wearing as opposed to what they were knitting. Were two different animals, yeah? This chunky wool, you can't make it look neat. Every stitch is whopping, you know. And especially when they're doing fair out and trying to strand it across the back, it left holes and gaps and no, not for me at all. I won't be watching any more of the programmes. So if you want to watch, carry on. I don't know when it's on tonight or when it's on, but I shan't be bothering. I don't know if it's once a week, once a day, I don't know what it's called. World of Knitting if you're interested. A World of Wool, sorry, with Tom Daly, wearing a flappy thing that looks like a gladiator gone wrong. Yeah. Oh, I'm in a catty mood today. Anyway, I'm going to go now, so thank you for keeping me company. And if I find out about my scooter, I'll let you know tomorrow. And if I start doing the knitting again, or if I change my mind and start crocheting, which I want to do, me and knitting, we do it, but we're not that clever at it anymore. The old brain cells don't compute with lacy patterns, and lacy patterns is what I want to do. So if I want something lacy, you know I'm going to do crochet, don't you? It's to go with those purple things I was ironing yesterday, was it? Yeah. So I've got to charge my camera up and take some photos. Maybe get them on eBay. But I need to learn how to use that machine. You know, the machine outside the shop. It's one of those box things where you can put your part. You don't have to go to the post office anymore. You can print your label and put a. Oh, you know me. It's no good telling me. My friend was trying to tell me today at library. She said, oh, it's dead easy. You do this, you do that, and you do that. I said, I'll wait by my neighbour up the road. Her husband's unfortunately in hospital at the moment. But when he comes out, she only lives just up the road. She'll help me. Once somebody's shown me to do one parcel, I'll be away. Because I'm I'm not a very sort of visual learner. If somebody shows me something one time, I can kind of pick it up. But if somebody tells me something one time, it's like glassy-eyed, nothing is going in the brain. I can watch a YouTube video. I don't mean about, oh, this thing's flashing again. I don't know what's wrong with this camera, it just keeps flashing. And I can't keep buying new stuff all the time. Especially when I buy stupid things like that. But I did get my iron to work. I did get the iron to work. I actually went and read the instruction manual after I'd finished doing my ironing. And on top was like what I thought was a button thing, and I thought, it won't press, this button, it just won't press. I thought, I'm sure this is something. They wouldn't put it there if it wasn't meant for something. And I looked at it and it was white and I couldn't see anything on it because, you know, eyeballs. Anyway, gets the manual out, reads it. What is this? Oh, you turn it. And in white on white, teeny little white on white, like sort of embossed. It said steam on, well, it didn't say steam on or steam. It was a thing like a mushroom cloud like that and something else that wasn't. I couldn't see that. Why don't they make things clearer? If they'd have put black writing on the white knob, I would have been able to see what it was. And I would have known to twist it instead of like trying to keep pressing it. So when I did that, it steamed, so I don't have to send it back after all. It was a bit late in the day actually because I found that out like after I'd finished ironing. It'll be there for next time. But as my friend at Nick Club said to me today, I don't iron. I said, well, I needed to iron them because I want to sell them, and they've been packed in a bag for about 6 months. So they were all screwed up. Nothing. I mean, I look at vintage now and again, but I look at them and I'm thinking, you expect to sell that when it looks like an old rag? You can see all the creases in everything. And I'm like, that puts me right off. I want to I want it to look pristine. I know it's second hand, but I still want it to look nice, otherwise I don't even look at it. So I thought, well, I don't want people looking at my screwed up things thinking, she doesn't take much care of her things, does she? I'm not buying that, Especially when 4 things have got tags on. Never worn, and they've still got the tags, the tickets on them. I mean, that pink skirt, it should have been €54 when it was new. I mean, I didn't pay that, but I want to leave the tag on showing that it was €54 in the first place. I would never have paid that for a skirt, but that's just me, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to go, so thank you for watching. I might see you tomorrow. If I find out about my scooter, I'll let you know if the scooter man comes. A man coming to my house. He might be a tradesperson, a scooter man, but my man coming to my house, that'll be a novelty. Bye. Toodle pips. So, ta-ra, as we say, ta-ra. See you, Chuck. Ta-ra, bye-bye. Oh, I forgot. Don't forget. Thumbs up, subscribe. And if you'd like to give me a hype, that would be wonderful. And you can buy a coffee for me in Ko-fi if you feel like it. Bye.